Hey guys, today I'm filming a video all about the products I have hit pan on in my collection. I film one of these every year. I'll have previous ones linked down below, so there might be a few repeats. I'm not showing you the new pans, I'm just showing you things that I currently have pan on. And I'm surprised that there's not more things here, but that is likely because I try to finish things up completely. You guys know I'm always doing different project pans on my channel. If you're interested in seeing the makeup products I've used up this year so far, I will link up in the cards my 2019 makeup use up. And I have a collection here of blushes, highlighters, bronzers, and eyeshadows. So we are going to start with my bronzers. I actually have 4, which is crazy because it has been so hard for me to work through bronzers because I'm so fair. I cannot go crazy with them. So I have hit pan on my go-to bronzer for spring, summer, fall, and winter. And I have some great goals for next year. I want to finish 2 of these up completely. Depending on that progress, how long that's taking, I might try to finish up the other 2 as well. Like, that's gonna be like a huge insane goal, so we'll see how it goes, but that would be amazing. So the first one is my go-to winter bronzer. This is Benefit Hoola, and I've got some really sizable pan on this one. I think I had hit pan on this one last year as well. And this is an amazing bronzer. It's one of the first ones I ever tried. I absolutely fell in love. This is a great neutral tone bronzer on me. I do know with some people with like a yellow undertone and medium complexion, this can be a nice cool tone contour. I think it's a great neutral tone bronzer for my skin tone. Absolutely love the color and the formula, and I will repurchase this once I use it up. Then for spring, my favorite is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I know that Physicians Formula makes several different shades. I just use the regular bronzer shade, and I've hit major pan, as you can see. I just have a little bit around the edges up there, and then this big chunk down here. And this is an amazing spring bronzer. It does have a really nice satin finish on the skin. It looks just like a healthy matte. It's so beautiful. It shows up really nicely, but it doesn't look too intense. Love the formula, and I really enjoy this color. I already have a backup of this one as well. So my main goal is going to be to try to use up both of these next year, which I still think will be challenging. But if I'm able to go through it pretty quickly, because again, winter, spring, those seasons come first in the year. If I'm able to make good progress on that, I'm going to try to use up these next 2, which sounds insane, and if I can't, then I'll move these 2 bronzers to the following year, but we'll see. So my go-to summer bronzer is the Milani Matte Baked Bronzer in Sunset, which was unfortunately limited edition. I know Milani does currently have matte bronzers. I have not tried them, and they're not this baked formula. And this is something that's a little bit harder to see because it isn't like a silver metal pan. It is a terracotta plate, if you can hear that. But I think you guys can see that pan right there. This was a domed product, so it took a really long time to work through this. This is a very warm tone bronzer. I think it can look a little bit orangey. I do have to be careful. I think it just depends how much I apply. But I do already have a backup of this one as well, and I've really worn down the product that is around the pan, so I think it's possible. But I love this bronzer. I'm so sad it was limited edition, and I might eventually try out the other matte bronzers that they have, but I just love this formula so much that, you know, I'm not really in a rush. But this is a great bronzer that you can still find on eBay and Amazon. And then the last one is my fall bronzer. It is a Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil. This is in my current fall project 10 pan, and I hit pan on it like 3 days after I put it in the intro, which is crazy because I know the Too Faced bronzers take forever to hit pan on, even in the little deluxe sample sizes. So this is milk chocolate. It is the lightest out of all the chocolate bronzers. It does have a really nice warm tone. I love this. I'm wearing it today. I think it's a great color, a really nice formula, and I've got pretty sizable pan on this one, but around the edges it's still pretty full of product, so I think it will still take me a while to get through. Once I use it up, I think I actually will repurchase this one as well if it's part of the 21 Days of Beauty, because it's a great color and a really nice formula. So yay bronzers. I only have 1 blush. Blush is something I have a ton of, and I love to switch them up every day, so I'm surprised to even have 1. I remember hitting pan on this, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, and I was so ecstatic. It was such a huge accomplishment because I wasn't even trying to hit pan on it. And This is Benefit Coralista blush. It's a really pretty peachy pink color with a beautiful shimmer shine to it, and I do have a pretty decent sized pan. This is one of the oldest blushes in my collection. It was one of the first thing that Justin purchased for me. This is probably from 2011 or 2012, which is insane. That's super old. So I would like to try to use this one up next year as well, but I'm a little bit nervous about that because I think I'm gonna have to use it like every single day for spring and maybe even into summer to use it up, which I don't love the idea of that, using it every day, but it is something that is special to me, but I don't want to have it just sitting around. I want to use it up to get Justin's money's worth because, again, Justin was not rolling in the dough when we were freaking freshmen in college, so I definitely want to make sure he got his money's worth. And it's a pretty color, not my most favorite. I wouldn't repurchase it again. I do have another of these in one of the Benefit palettes. The color is not quite the same, but it's close enough. I'm sure it will look the same on the cheek. So that is something I would like to eventually use up, but I am happy that I hit pan on it. Next, for highlighters, I have three. Some of these you've seen before, but this first one is new. I just hit pan on this in my spring project pan. This is the Pixi and Aspen Ovard Glowy Powder in London Lustre, and this shade might still be available on the Target website. So as you can see, I do actually have a really good amount of pan here, and I do have a pretty sizable dip. I think that if I worked on this surrounding product right here for a week or two, I could expand it even more. This is a really nice highlight. It is warm tone without being too yellow, but it's very, very light as well. So it actually highlights my fair skin tone really nicely. So this is a product I do recommend. I do like it. It does give some really intense shine. It does have, you know, a lot of kick up, but I don't mind that with a highlight. So this is a really nice product and I like the color. Next, we have the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector pressed in the shade Pearl. So I was so excited to buy this years ago because it was like a white highlight. This is going to be amazing for fair skin, and it is, but this is so noticeable that it looks like it's just laying on the skin. It looks very powdery and it's not my favorite. And this was like the first Becca highlighter I really used. Opal's way too dark for me, so I can't make that one work. But this was the first one that I used, and it did not make me love Becca highlighters, I'll tell you that, because it's just so powdery and chalky looking on the skin. And I do have some great pan there. I would definitely like to use this up eventually, and I won't repurchase it. It's something I only use in the winter time, and I go with like all cool tone makeup in the winter, so this does work really well with it. But just in general, I think that there's others. Like, I really like Vanilla Quartz from Becca. I haven't purchased that one yet because I have so many highlights, but I have used it and I think it's so pretty. Becca Moonstone, both of those work for fair skin and they're not like this chalky looking. So I wouldn't repurchase that one again, but I do want to use it up. Then we've got my most favorite, my holy grail, which is the Balm Mary LouManizer. Such a gorgeous champagne highlight. I do have a really nice amount of pan in it, and this is something that I am using today. This is my go-to highlighter for the fall time. This is also the oldest highlighter in my collection. I would like to eventually use this up, but I will repurchase it, and it's just so stunning. I know this works for so many different skin tones, which I think is great, and it's an amazing formula. It's very easy to pick up on a brush. I don't really like gelée highlights because I feel like I'm really having to dig my brush in there, and this is just so easy to apply to the skin, so that is still my favorite. So now we have eyeshadows. I've got some single eyeshadows, some ColourPop Super Shocks, and then I've got some eyeshadows in palettes. So we will just start with some of my single shadows. Of course, I've got my Wet n Wild Brulee, which is the most perfect matte cream. I use this to clean up my eyeshadow. It matches my skin tone perfectly. It's an amazing, amazing formula. I do have a backup with this one as well, and I love this. So I was using this previously to set my primer, but I've currently been trying to go through all the matte creams in palettes in my collection to use them up to set my primer, and I've just been using this to clean up the outer corner of my eye, and I love this. It's amazing. I will continue to repurchase it. Then I have a couple cool tone shadows here that I was working on in my winter project pan earlier in the year. And the first one I have is Urban Decay YDK. This is the most gorgeous taupe color. It is so intensely metallic. I've hit some pretty major pan on this one. This is ancient. This is so old. This is their old packaging of their eyeshadows, but this shade does also come in the Naked 2 palette, and I do have the Naked 2 palette, so I would love to use this one up and then I'll just use the shade in my palette. This is something that is a go-to shade for me in the winter time. I love this, definitely recommend it. Then I also hit pan on Urban Decay Tease. This is the new packaging, and this is also in the Naked 2 palette. And you can see I just have like a tiny little flicker of pan there. This is a really nice color. I don't love it as much as I used to because this is a pretty taupey color, but this pulls a little bit more gray on my skin and less of that purple color that I like. So I do enjoy this one, but it's not something that I would be tempted to repurchase. This one for sure, but this one probably not. But that being said, I do like it in combination with the next eyeshadow, which is NYX Coquette. This is one of their hot singles. They might still have this on their website. It's no longer on the Ulta website, not this shade. This is so stunning. This is a beautiful, dusty, purpley taupe color that makes an amazing transition color, and these two shades blended together are so beautiful. So this is something that I would like to repurchase because I don't have anything quite like this and I use it so much in the winter time, but I am happy with the progress that I've made. Then I have one more regular single shadow, and this is one of the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadows in the shade Amber Rush. If you guys can see, I've hit some pan right there in the center, and this is a thick eyeshadow. This is an amazing rose gold. It is so metallic on the eye. It's so brightening. It looks so beautiful. I had put this one in a project pan and absolutely fell in love with it. So this is a product I do recommend. The formula is incredible and the color is so beautiful. I wish L'Oreal would release some new shades because the formula is really awesome and I know people have loved these for years. For ColourPop Super Shock shadows, there are 4 I've hit pan on, and that's because I've put several of these in project pans. Mostly last year. This year I've used up one, but I tried to use them up completely. The first one I have is Brady, which is a beautiful rosy tan color. I wish that I had this exact shade in a single shadow, but I don't. And that's why I've held on to this because the color is so unique, but I do not like the matte formula of the Super Shock shadows. I just don't think that they're the easiest to blend out, and of course I would pick a pressed powder over a matte Super Shock any day, but the color is beautiful and I have hit some nice pan there. I do want to try to use this winter and really kind of either fall in love with it and use it up or get rid of it because I am definitely slacking on using it. Then we've got some more fun, bright colors. This one is Flowershop, which is a pearlized finish. I've got a little bit of a smaller pan on this one. It's such a beautiful turquoisey shimmer color. This is so stunning. It's a go-to for me for the springtime. Absolutely love this and recommend it. The next shade I have is Belladonna Lily, which was released with Flowershop. This is such a bright, like pastel aqua color that is a matte finish, and I think it's such a pretty color. I do like this one packed on the lid and with some like browns in the crease. This is a pretty shade that I do enjoy in the springtime, but I won't repurchase it once I use it up. Again, just because I don't love the matte formula. Now the matte formula, when you put it on your lid, is much easier to use than trying to like buff and blend it out in your crease. The next shade I have is Daddy. So this is one that I've had before and it had really dried out, so I repurchased it, and I had to get Ulta to send this to me like 2 times because it kept crumbling and falling apart. So I tried my best to mush it in there, and this looks like so busted and crusted and it's brand new. So something about these like matte neon shades just have such a hard time. This one I think looks very beautiful on the lid. It does stain your eyes, so you have to be careful with that. It is something though that I really enjoy the look of, and it is like a go-to shadow for me in the springtime, so I do enjoy all of those. The only one I would repurchase though would be Flowershop. I just think that one is so pretty, and I love my shimmery Super Shocks for the lid. Next I have some eyeshadow singles that are in pan form that I've hit pan on. I've got 2 from Makeup Geek and 2 from Anastasia. So from Makeup Geek I have the shade Frappe, which is such an amazing crease or transition color for me. Usually a crease color. I can use it for a transition if I really buff it out and use a light amount of product. Then we've got Cupcake here, which I love. This is a really pretty like dusty pinky shade that makes a beautiful transition color that I use with a lot of my winter makeup looks, my more cool tone looks. Even though this is more of like a warm tone pink, it works with cool tone looks. And I wanted to show you a comparison between that one and NYX Coquette. So you can see the NYX is a lot more purple while Makeup Geek is more pink, but I love the two of them in combination with each other. So if I do use that one up, I will repurchase it. I know Makeup Geek is doing some different stuff with their singles, so I hope they have not gotten rid of that one. I'm not sure, I haven't checked out their website in a while, but as you can tell, I mean, I've hit good pan on Frappe, but I've hit major pan on Cupcake. These bottom two shades here are from Anastasia. So you can see I've got a warm tone shade, a more like pinky purple color here. This one I've hit major pan on as well. This is Anastasia Birkin. This is an amazing transition color for me because it is very light for my skin tone, and I am able to build it up. It definitely can be intense, but compared to a lot of other like matte browns, they can be a little dark for transition. This one's perfect for me, and it is like neutral on my skin tone, and it can be leaning a little warm, but it isn't as warm or orangey as other shades. You can tell even compared to Frappe, this is much more warm and orangey. So this one is incredible. I will absolutely repurchase it once I use it up. It is definitely a staple for me. This one right here is Dusty Rose. This is in a couple of her palettes. I only own it in the single though. This is stunning. It is a stunning like rosy purple color, and this one is a lot deeper than Cupcake, so this is something I use more as a crease color. Absolutely love this. Definitely will repurchase it, and I love mixing this with one of the other Anastasia eyeshadows that I'll show you. But oh my gosh, I love Makeup Geek and Anastasia mattes. I think that they perform really well. They're very pigmented, they're very blendable. These are for like holy grail must-have eyeshadows for me, and they're just, it's just so rewarding to look at those pans. So then I've got some pans and palettes. I don't think I've missed anything. I tried to go through my palettes and see, but I think a lot of the other palettes I had hit pan on were matte creams that I have since used up. But there is one matte cream I'm currently working on in my fall project pan, and that would be from the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. And that is this shade right here, Peaches and Cream. If you guys can see, I have hit some pretty major pan on this one. And this is a little dark for me to use to set my primer. It is a little peachy tone, so I can only use this to set the primer in my crease, but it is working well. And this is a really nice pigmented formula. It's easy to blend. Of course, I do prefer Wet n Wild Brulee. I would never purchase this palette for that color, but I'm happy that I'm able to use it up and use it to set my primer. Next is probably the palette I'm the most proud of overall. This is the Anastasia Tamanna'palette, which was such a gorgeous one, and it is really old. And I have used up 3 shades and hit pan on 2 shades in here. So I've used up Fresh, which was like a matte cream with like a peachy pink undertone I used to set my primer. I had the shade Blush, which was just like a light shimmery champagne I used up as a highlighter, and then China Rose, which looks just like Nora's Orgasm, I used up as a blush. So that was super exciting. But the 2 colors I've hit pan on, which is what this video is about, would be Gilded, which is a really pretty bronze. I wish this was a little bit warmer or a little bit cooler. It's just more of like a neutral bronze that's very pigmented, but it's not as shimmery as I would like it to be. So I do always put that one over a cream base to try to make it look a little bit more dynamic. And then we have Bengal, which is the perfect warm brown crease color. I love this one. Birkin and Bengal together I think work so well. Those are the 2 shades that I would use for crease and transition, and then I would use Flowershop on the lid. Like, this is really warm tone, but it's not super orange, if that makes any sense. I love that color so much. This is a holy grail shade to me, and I definitely will repurchase this in a single. Some of these shades that I've hit pan on and love from singles or her palettes, I'm considering, like, depending on if they have that really good Black Friday sale this year, I might repurchase those already because I just love them so much. Highly, highly recommend that shade, and I'm so happy that one's available in a single. Gilded was only available in this palette, I believe, or maybe it's been in other palettes, but I know it's not a single, but Bengal is, thank the Lord, because this is amazing. And the last palette I have to show you is the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, and I've got some good progress to share with you. So Temper here I used up to set my primer. This was like a satin finish cream. I didn't like this color at all, but you can see I've hit pan on my 3 favorite shades from this palette, which would be Raw Sienna, which has just a tiny little flicker of pan, Burnt Orange, and Buon Fresco. So Raw Sienna I think is only exclusive to her palettes. I really wish that one was available in a single because I love it. But Burnt Orange and Buon Fresco are available in singles, which is amazing. I've hit some good pan on them. I love them. And these are 2 more shades again. Like, I'm already planning out what my Black Friday haul would be from Anastasia. I would probably purchase Birkin, Bengal, Burnt Orange, and Blonde Fresco as singles because they are staples for me and I love them so much. So I will usually use these in combination: Burnt Orange for transition, Raw Sienna for crease, and then Blonde Fresco I love using as a transition color with the Dusty Rose single from Anastasia, because Blonde Fresco is lighter, a little dustier, and a little more purple, and then the Dusty Rose shade does have a little bit more of that pink in it and it's deeper, so I love using those in combination as well. And these are just so amazing, very pigmented. So I'm kind of confused which one this is because I don't know if they still have it on the website, but I know Anastasia had Burnt Orange and Burnt Orange Matte, but they both looked matte to me, so I'm confused. But I love these shades so much. I like this palette a lot in general, but again, these three shades are holy grail to me, and I will just hope and pray that eventually they will release Raw Sienna as a single because I love that one so much, but I definitely prefer Burnt Orange a little bit more. So I guess if one of them had to be a permanent single, I'm glad it's this one, but definitely recommend this palette, and those three shades are amazing. You can see I tend to hit pan on transition and crease colors, and all of these have been in project pans. That's why I've hit pan on them, but I really like to switch up my lid shade the most, but those are all staple transition and crease colors for me. I love them so much. So guys, you know, I wish this was bigger. I wish there were more things I've hit pan on, but I've also used up a ton of makeup this year, so I can feel happy about that. So I hope you guys still really enjoyed watching this video. I would love to know the things that you've hit pan on in your collection, and I would love to know your thoughts on these products in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.